Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I present to you is the all-new latest generation Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, and this is the G580, which means it's fully electric. It's equipped with EQ technology. It's extremely powerful as it has 579 horsepower, but they like to round up, so 580, and it has 559 pound-feet of torque, which allows this monster to achieve a 0-60 time of 4.6 seconds. And even though my microphone crapped out on some portions throughout the video, offers tank-like abilities, which I'll go more in a little bit. Here's my voiceover of all the cool hidden features and some nifty things you need to know about this vehicle. Let's begin by going over the front end of this car. These are some extremely bright DRLs. And they also feature unique abilities. You see, when you plug in this car, it will actually pulse, showing that it is indeed charging. Now, if you like to disable this, you can always go into the vehicle settings and turn it off. Now, another thing I really do enjoy about this G-Wagon is the headlight technology. Not only do they feature like a nice welcoming light animation whenever you start up the car, but the headlights do actually swivel as well to corner whenever you make a sharp turn. This way your blind spot is always illuminated, even at night. And of course, it does feature auto high beams as well. And in case you are curious if it has any cargo compartment space underneath the hood, unfortunately there isn't. As all you have access to underneath here is wiper fluid for your windshield, fuse box, radiator fluid for, I'm assuming, the battery. And underneath the cover, you'll see a bunch of electrical components. Nothing much here. But it is pretty nifty that the cabinet filter can be replaced right here, and you do have access to a terminal in case your battery dies to revive the car. Now moving on to the side, there are a couple of key differences that separates this from the regular gasoline version G-Wagon. You'll know you have an electric Mercedes when you see this little EQ badging, because this is powered by Mercedes EQ technology. And if you look closely at the rear fenders, there's some opening vents right here, only available on the EV models. But even the G580 still takes full advantage of its amazing ground clearance like the gas variant does, and underneath, the battery pack itself is fully reinforced with lightweight material, such as like carbon fiber and such, which is strong enough to be able to withstand the weight of the G-Wagon up to 3 times. Now you may have noticed in the intro of this video I did like a 360 tank spin. This G-Wagon has that ability, but there's some interesting quirks that it also has. For starters, something funny that this car has is if you go into your vehicle settings, it has like a fake engine noise you can enable. It'll be under vehicles and driving. G-Wagon calls it the G-Roar, which is really weird. It sounds like a V8. It kind of does give you feedback, but it's even stranger if you step outside, as it makes like a Decepticon noise. You can kind of hear that. It's so weird, and it doesn't go away until you turn off the vehicle and lock the car. So even when the vehicle is turned off, it'll still do this hum rumble thing. It's very weird. There's some more noises of the fake engine noise too. You kind of hear it, especially if we accelerate. Yeah, that's interesting. And then, as weird it may sound to the rest of us, this is actually the first G-Wagon that features smart door handles, which means you could just approach the car to unlock as well as lock your vehicle without having to physically take your key fob out of your pocket and hit lock. And yes, it does continue to have the satisfying, iconic G-Wagon door sound whenever you close the door, which correlates to the rear vents over here, because these vents, they're not there for looks, they're functional, as they allow pressure cabin air to escape, preventing anything from getting damaged like your glass when you just slam your door shut. And then on the passenger side, this will be where you'll find your charge port, which does lock if the vehicle is locked, so you need to have the vehicle unlocked to have access to it. And it is a full CCS charging port for fast charging, and can reach a max peak up to 200 kilowatts to charge. And for this vehicle, it does require an adapter if you like to use the Tesla charging network, which this vehicle is fully compatible to use. And from my first-hand experience, it's extremely easy to just plug in, hit confirm on the app, and you're set. So I like the fact this has access to Tesla reliable supercharging network. And instead of fiddling with the charge port whenever you're done charging, you can just press this button and it will automatically unlock it for you. A lot more efficient than other electric vehicles. Now let's walk our way to the back. Oh, before I open up this one actually has a full spare tire located in the back. There's also a backpack option you can get for the EV version, which is kind of cool because it will actually lock and unlock itself depending on the car. So if you unlock it, you'll have access to a cute little square backpack in the back. That's pretty useful for like tools, off-road stuff, or camping as well. So that's a cool additional option right there. But we have the full spare tire, which Mercedes continues to have like this nice beauty cover over it to prevent the tires from dry rotting, you know? It's kind of smart. But in the back, if we open up the hatch, or the door I should say, the bolt, very G-Wagon-y in here. It's super nice, spacious, very tall. This one actually has a cargo cover, which you can just roll back. And if you don't need it, it has like these push pins you just push out and then just maneuver it like so, and you can just quickly remove it. Plenty of storage, although I have the cubic feet numbers right there on the screen, but something I have noticed is Mercedes claims this has 3 cubic feet less than the standard gasoline model. But in my opinion, the 3 cubic feet that's missing, I don't see it. There still is a lot of storage back here. You even have space for like a little pass-through right here if you need it. So like your skis and stuff like that. But if you don't need the seats to be folded up, you can always fold it down flush too. There's 2 ways of doing it. You can either fold down the seat like so, which will not give you a flat surface. But if you need like to store like a TV or something like that, you could just pull this lever on the bottom seat and then it will allow you to actually fold this row pretty flat. I like that. Yes, you have a little raise, but again, you have battery components and stuff since an electric version, taking up 3 cubic feet more space, but again, you still have a lot of cargo space. In addition to that, you still have these tie-down hooks, as well as cargo net, and a 12-volt outlet. It's very practical. You could probably camp out of this if you absolutely have to, if you're glamming or something like that last minute. And before I close the door, yes, it does have a windshield wiper back here for your rear glass. Now, there's no air ride suspension available on this, but it is using adaptive suspension with a dampening system, allowing the vehicle to adapt to the terrain and different situations you're in. And I gotta say, they're pretty comfortable on the streets. Now, this car does have washer jets for not just the headlights, but also the rear camera as well. It has washer jets of its own for its 360 cameras. But it's really interesting to activate the washers for the headlights because you need to press the windshield wipers 10 times. Yes, 10 times, not hold for 10 seconds. You have to activate it 10 times, and then your headlights washer will activate. Of course, you need to have your headlights activated as well, so the vehicle does need to be on. That's how you can turn on the headlight washers. Kind of wish they had its own dedicated button, but now you know. And then at night, there is a projector that projects down to the ground that says "stronger than time." Kind of unusual, but kind of funny. And a feature that's not well talked about is what do you do when your key fob itself is dead? Well, don't panic, because if you look closely at the door handles, there's no keyhole whatsoever. In fact, you have to go all the way to the very back, because this is where you'll find a little keyhole icon. You gotta pop this cover off. You better have some long nails or something to wedge these out. There we go. Store that aside, pull out the valet key, and then simply insert and twist, and then you push down and it'll open. And then we have to manually maneuver our way inside the driver portion. And once you manage to squeeze it on in here, insert the key fob inside this little section right here with the key icon, and then you can push the start to begin driving. Now in the back seats, it's very G-Wagon in here, so I have a lot of headspace thanks to the boxy design. Adjustable headrests that can always move out of the way so it doesn't block driver visibility. I do have heated seats back here, up to 3 levels. The windows are shadow lock, but they do go down from right here. A beautiful ambient lighting, 2 USB-C ports, a 12-volt outlet, temperature controls right here from the back, and a armrest with my cup holders that I can always store away if I don't need it. Storage behind the driver and passenger seat, and my own vents right here. No side vents unfortunately, but you do have your O snap handles and a speaker illumination around for the ambient lighting. Very romantic. No massive glass roof, but you do have the ability to recline your seats or move them closer if you absolutely need to. Just requires a little bit of strength to like really recline them or push them forward. And your reading lamps are right here. It feels like I'm in a luxury briefcase, to be honest. I also have loads of headspace, so if you're 6 foot or taller, you'll be perfectly fine. Sorry for blocking my hand. So hopping into the Mercedes driver's seat. Again, that nice soft material continues inside the driver and passenger side, which is great. Of course, turning this thing on, this car has amazing AC. Also, this is a nice ride height as well. This is a similar ride height to like an F-150. I want to say it's the same ride height driving position as my Raptor. I also dig the turn signals being up here because they do illuminate when you have your blinker on. Massive cup holders that can actually hold like 32-ounce aluminum bottles or steel bottles. I think it's aluminum. Wireless chargers right there, and you got 2 USB-C ports. And if you like to close this, you totally can for a more sleeker design. This trackpad that basically controls everything from here. Aerodynamic button, which controls different modes. Your 360 camera, which is a very high resolution camera, which allows you to change between 90 different camera positions that you need. Your car settings, your navigation, audio, media, and EQ, which will give you your information on the vehicle and all that good stuff. Driver steering wheel is very Mercedes, but there are paddle shifters you may notice. Since this is an electric car, there's no 10-speed or anything like that, of course. What these paddles do basically allow you to control how strong you want the regenerative brakings to be, or if you like to disable it entirely, you can. This is a 7,000-pound vehicle, so regenerative braking really does benefit this car a lot. And then in terms of your climate control, you get physical buttons, so you don't have to deal with touchscreen or anything like that. Overall, it's a very nice interior. Now, this does have a moonroof, which you manually have to open up, and you just press this button over here. It'll automatically recline the glass pretty far back, or you can always pop it open midway if you want that like breathability. Now, in terms of cool features that this car has, it does feature heated and cool cup holders, only one level, and it's not a dual climate, it's only a single climate for the cup holders. So you only have one preference for both cup holders. And like every good Mercedes, if you put the vehicle in reverse, the passenger mirror will actually fold down. This only works if you have the right mirror selected. If you select the left, it'll stay fixed to the fixed position. So you have some personal preference right there, making packing up into like a parking spot, lining up with the lines easier with your rear wheels. And this Mercedes does have massage seats. And then since we're on the subject of massage seats, here's a little funny one right here. Hopefully the camera can pick this up. Right here, if you select this little triangle looking thing, and then you go to energizing comfort, this is like, I don't know what this is, but if you're having a stressful day or something like that, you have these different like massage energizing settings to choose from. So depending on what you're feeling, let's say we want summer rain, we'll select this, select the driver's seat or the passenger seat, start it, it's going to play audio through the speaker, just make it simulate like it's raining, and my seat will move and I guess vibrate. I'm not sure if it's a subwoofer that's vibrating my seat, but my seat, it's like moving to the motion of the rainfall. It's very interesting. I also want to believe that it changes the ambient lighting. I think it does. Very interesting stuff. And it's utilizing its amazing surround sound system too to make it seem like it's raining in the back. And your climate controls will also adapt to the color temperature you're adjusting. So if you increase the temperature on one side, it'll change the color coordinating to the temperature climate change. And the ambient color is full RGB, so you could select the pre-made ones or you could create a custom one. And yes, there is both heated and cool ventilated seats, as well as 3 memory seat options, as well as on the passenger side too. Now, this Mercedes does feature a very advanced virtual voice assistant to the point where you can basically tell it to control everything from like vehicle settings to climate settings and your windows and so much more. It even has some funny tricks too. So if I say something like, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
Ejecto seats,"
it could sound like this.
And you also have heated steering wheels too, which you'll find your lever right here on the bottom of the steering wheel. And to program your favorite button, just long hold on the star right here. You can also program it on the steering wheel. And you can activate things like control your massage seats, ambient lighting control, consumption, traffic, and etc. You could add some more too right here if you like to create like custom ones, like to turn on your FM or satellite radio. And then like a good UI system, everything is able to be rearranged and customized to your own personal preference. Just simply long hold. You could do the exact same thing in the vehicle control center for its quicker shortcuts. Just long hold and rearrange it to your own personal preference. You could even slightly rearrange the temperature inside the vehicle for both passenger and driver side by just simply sliding your finger like so. And then no, there's no fog lamp icon. What this fog lamp does over here is a European standard, because by hitting this button, if we step in the back, what it does is basically allows your tail lights to illuminate with this bright LED light to help you drive safely in thick fog. And then back behind the wheel on the left side with the arrow keys, you could change the theme of your instrument cluster with these few options. Now on a typical 4x4 G-Wagon, you'll have your differential controls and stuff like that located right here. But since we're driving an EV, we have access to unique features. You see, this one over here allows the vehicle to make sharper turns on loose gravel. But the one over here is what you want to press to activate the tank walk mode, where you just rotate your wheels opposite direction to create like a quick pivot. Mercedes calls this their G-turn. And to activate this, it's a couple of steps that's required. One, you have to do it on loose gravel, not concrete. If you're doing it on asphalt, you gotta make sure the asphalt is wet. This way it doesn't destroy your tires. And then once you're in a terrain like that, just put the vehicle in rock mode and activate. You can activate low range. You're gonna be instructed to put the vehicle in neutral. And then once in neutral, activate the G-turn. And then you need to put the vehicle back in park. And then you need to put your hand on the plus or negative pedal, depending on the direction you like to turn. Long hold on that pedal, and then press on the accelerator. Do not take your foot off the accelerator. It's going to feel like you're going to go straight. You're not. Just continue holding the paddle, and the vehicle will turn. And you have to maintain the straight steering wheel too, because as soon as you move the steering wheel off the position, it's going to immediately cancel, and it's going to have you repeat the same steps. So it's a bit of a step-by-step process, but once you do it, it's pretty useful, especially in situations where you're in dirt roads and it's difficult to make a U-turn. You could just spin around quickly in the center without having to do a sketchy U-turn. That's how it's beneficial. And then just once you're done, just put the vehicle back in neutral and then put it back into comfort or sport mode. After you remove low range, of course. Then a bonus hidden feature can be located in the glove box, because here you see a little coin slot holder right here. A bit old school, but kind of interesting. Although you really need a passenger to help you grab the quarters. And then over here is a little pen holder as well. Something interesting, very quirky. And to answer another most asked question is this little thing right here on the both driver and passenger glass window. It's like a little bump stock guidon for the glass window to roll up. That's what that's typically there for, according to the community. So now let's talk about the window price and all that good stuff, the specs that we have here. Well, it's the G580 because that's how much horsepower this has. It has 579 horsepower according to the window sticker and 859 pound-feet of torque, which allows this vehicle to achieve a 0-60 time of 4.7 seconds, which is really impressive for a vehicle that weighs around 7,000 pounds. The window sticker doesn't even say the battery size, but I have it on my notes. It has a 124 kilowatt battery, but only 116 kilowatts is usable, which allows this vehicle to have a range up to 230 miles, which has a top speed of 112 miles. But with a quick 0-60 like that, you'll be able to pass anybody, because 0-60 is 4.7 seconds, which is, again, not bad. So this is definitely an impressive vehicle. But the grand total of everything was the one we have here, was the EQ technology. Has an MSRP price of $161,500. This one was all the bells and whistles, including this cool color, which comes out to be $178,450. That's how much this G-Wagon costs. So there we have it. That is everything cool about the latest generation G-Wagon in terms of cool features, some tips and tricks, and all that good stuff that you need to know about this G-Wagon in case you're in a market for one of these. I have to admit, I'm really impressed on the drivability of this car. It has everything that every G-Wagon owner loves. And the fact that it's an EV, you take the advantage of everything that an EV has to offer, such as the convenience of having this be able to be charged at your home without going to a gas station. It's cheaper than premium fuel, especially if you have a solar system hooked up to your household. Yeah, the range may not be the greatest, but I mean, like for daily commutes and stuff like that, 200, 230 is just fine. And you could take full advantage of the Tesla charging network. So here in California, there's lots of those. So there really shouldn't be any range anxiety for this car whatsoever when it comes to long distance commuting. But you may have to make a lot of stops because it's only so far at you could travel on the 230 range. I believe Car and Driver was able to get a little bit more, like 240 about, but still under 300-mile range with a full charge is not the greatest, especially when there's other EVs in the market. But none of them can go off-road like this while still being very compact and easy to park and having a very nice ride height like a truck. Anyways, there you guys have it. That is everything about the G-Wagon EQS G580. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? If you like to watch more, maybe you want to watch a similar off-roader vehicle but probably costs a lot less compared to this, I did review the Bronco Raptor right over there, and underneath that is the regular non-Raptor version of the Bronco, which is much more affordable than that one as well. Thank you so much for watching.